This is an explanation of tech development for the BBR rule set. Basically, the five major powers in the game, the five classic Axis and Allies powers of Germany, Japan, Russia, United States, and the UK, all start at what's called phase one of tech. The other three powers, I guess technically four, there's no chart for it, but the other four powers, Italy, Canada, the Anzac, and presumably France, but they're never going to have any money to do it, all start at phase zero, basically. To get to phase two, to get to phase one, you pay $4. To get to phase two, you pay $4 at the beginning of your turn. To get to phase three, you pay $4 at the beginning of the next turn. And then when you're in phase three, to get to hold, you roll a six-sided die. If you get a 6, you pay $6 and you get your tech on that turn. If you get anything other than a 6, you pay that much money and then you get an opportunity to try and roll for your tech on the next turn. Now, when you're in the hold phase, basically what you do is every turn you're going to start by buying some dice. Dice are $1 each. And what you're trying to do is buy enough of them to guarantee that you will roll at least a 5 or a 6, because that's what you need to get tech. So most people buy, I don't know, 4 or 5 dice or something like that. If you want to really gamble, buy 2 or 3 or whatever. But once you roll a 5 or a 6, when you're in the hold phase on any of those dice, you get the tech. Now, what are the techs? Well, here they are over here. And what you have to do is you actually have to declare secretly what your tech is when you start researching it. And you reveal it once you use it for the first time. You don't even have to reveal it once you get it. You can reveal it only when it actually comes into play in the game. So there are three technically associated with aircraft. Jet fighters, which make all of your fighters attack at 4 instead of 3, and also intercept and escort at 2 instead of 1. Heavy bombers. Bombers now roll 2 dice on attacks, 1 at 4 and 1 at 2, and 2 dice on bombing raids. They can also, how bombers get to be air transport planes. They can be cargo planes if they're heavy bombers, which means they can drop tanks and artillery. 1 tank or 1 artillery rather than 2 infantry. Radar and ATC. Now this one has been changed, okay? On paper here it says anti-aircraft guns now defend at 2 up from 1. That's still true. It says air bases now support unlimited scramble. That's no longer true. Basically what it is it's a double scramble, 6 instead of 3. And allied units can only be in the first 3 scramble slots. And also, it increases the range of all of your air bases, presumably only for you, not for your allies, but it increases the range +2 instead of +1. So your fighters can go 6 instead of 5, and your bombers can go 8 instead of 7. The only land one is self-propelled artillery. This is a very popular one with both Germany and the USSR. Artillery now supports 2 infantry, or mechanized infantry instead of 1. And artillery movement is now 2 from 1. So basically it's like having mechanized artillery, basically. And it can blitz with a tank. The rest of them are all associated with Navy. Improved shipyards. Now, different from out of the box, some of them are even cheaper. So if you have improved shipyards, subs are 5, transports are 5, destroyers are 7, cruisers are 10, carriers are 13, and battleships are 16. Super subs now attack at 3 instead of 2, and destroyers can only detect up to 3 submarines each, and the remaining submarines can submerge or surprise strike the destroyer, or target select the destroyer. Super carriers. Carriers can carry 3 planes instead of 2, and they take 3 hits instead of 2. If a carrier is damaged by 1 hit, it is still fully operational. It takes 2 hits to damage it so that it can't land planes. Super battleships. Battleships now attack and defend with 2 dice, 1 at 4 and 1 at 2, and that includes shore bombardments. They also take 3 hits and are considered fully operational even if they have a hit. So their AA guns still work, and their attacks and defense rolls are fully what they're supposed to be. The last one, and this is extraordinarily popular with the United States, is improved transports. Transports can carry 3 ground units instead of 2 as long as one of them is an infantry. So we can do 3 infantry, 1 infantry and 2 tanks, 1 infantry and 2 artillery, 1 infantry and 2 mech, whatever. Okay? So that's all the techs. And most countries do spend the money to get one of those because there are some extraordinarily useful ones.